Greetings, everybody. I am Zerul, your conductor for yet another Train Recommend episode today. We're going to go ahead and we're going to finish off our mod tutorial for Applied Energistics version 9. Now, to give you a quick refresher from the first two videos here, the general idea is we have a few specific extra tools that this adds, but the main things it adds is the ability to store items in a compact way, manage the items that are being stored, use devices to create and automate other devices with that, using all of this. The one thing that this really requires is power, which can be in the form of Minecraft Joules, MJs, or EU from an IC2, or even power from the Universal Electricity mods there, which is a fairly new add-on here, fairly new addition to this here. So let's go and do this. All right, so like I mentioned on the last one here, one of the big things this allows you to do is it allows you, with our molecular assembler here, our multi-block molecular assembler, is to take items that are in the inventory and use it to automatically craft stuff. There we go, let's turn that network on. There we go. When it's applicable there. And let's turn that on like that. All right, so there's only a few more blocks to go over. Now, one of the nice things that this lets you do, let's go ahead and get some dust. Not that. Let's quartz dust. Get a few stacks of that. And then that's one silicon. All right, so one of the nice things that this pattern encoder lets you do is it lets you create abstract formula that you can use when working with other things like furnaces and such. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and grab a pattern, and I'll show you how all this works. So one of the things that you use in Applied Energistics is silicon. Now, see if this will bring this up here. So you see this is used in crafting the different processors, for instance there. And let's say that you want to set up a unit over here specifically and only to output when or to use stuff up, for instance, whenever you want to make a silicon. So you want to have a dedicated furnace. All right, so this is what we would do. First, we need to tell it that one quartz dust will turn into one silicon. See what I said there? You could technically put anything in here. You could say one quartz dust turns into this, but it's not going to work realistically. So let's turn this in here, and this now creates a pattern that says one silicon turns into a quartz, one silicon made with one quartz dust. All right. So let's go and throw all of this in here now. And what we're going to be using for this is we're going to be using the ME interface. And we've got those here. Let's go and break this down, just to simplify things here in a bit. There we go. All right, so let's make ourselves a electric furnace. Or let's do this a little bit different. Let's say we don't care about the iron anymore. Since we've already got one of these, we won't have to worry about remaking it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell this, we're going to place this here. This is the interface. This is a component and some other devices, but by itself it is a usable component as well there. And here's what this looks like. Now, what we're going to use it for this purpose, there's that there. sure that all looks okay. Just glancing at a few things on this end. So let's put this here in processing. So what this says is this can turn a silicon dust into a silicon quartz, which would be basically it'll output from this into here, the side that it is touching, which means it would go into the top here. And then we can use a import bus on the side to suck it out. So let's go ahead. Make sure this is all connected here. All right, good. So let's pull this out, and let's see here. Make sure this is going to work for us correctly. Craft some 1 silicon. All right, give me just a second here. There we go. All right, so let's tell this to make 1 silicon. Yep, that's what I thought. Let's try this again. This needs to be inputted from the top, so it should work from the top. Right. And make sure this is not going to work. Yeah. Oh, one of the other nice blocks, while we're messing around with this here, that we can use is we can use a wireless access terminal. Now, let's find this here. There we go, wireless receiver. So the way this works is pretty simple. First, we make ourselves a wireless receiver, which is quartz fiber, ender pearl, and that. And this wireless receiver will get placed. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. So the wireless receiver will combine with a access terminal to make a wireless access terminal. Once the wireless access terminal has been created, you can drop it in there and it links it to a network, like so. Now, if we right-click with this in our here, look, we have no signal. All right, so next, let's go ahead and pull out the next block here. The wireless access point, like so. So wireless access point gives you the capability to use this a certain distance away. Now, it is fairly short. See, there we go. It's like 16 blocks, like so. You can increase it to a much, well, not much, but you can increase it to a large one using these wireless boosters, which are made with quartz, redstone, and iron. And you can fit up to 16 of these, each one increasing the block range by 1. So now you can go out to 32 blocks away before it stops working. So if you have a big base, you could place these terminals all around, and this would allow access to the network that way there. So it's really handy. This way you don't have to worry about being right in front of your terminal to be able to access stuff and pull stuff out. And let's go ahead and throw some of this in here. Dust and quartz dust. Access point. There we go. All right. So let's use a different machine here to easier demonstrate my purpose there. So let's pull this out and let's go ahead and go into this. Let's see here. Let's grab our powered furnace. See, that's what I'm looking for. Yep. And then let's grab a redstone energy cell. That's charged. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw down one of these furnaces. And well, let's move it one over one so it's easier to work with here. So, furnace there. And let's give it the energy cell and back. Powering the furnace. Now, we can configure this so that the right side is blue, giving us our input, and the top will be the exporting. And then let's go ahead and throw this interface down and throw this in here. So now we'll see that we have where the silicon is now showing there. It says when this is input into this here, this is crafted in the through the terminal there, this will create a silicon. And the way this works, so let's go ahead and craft 10. There. So this went ahead and threw 10 of these in here, in this side here. So it works really well with this particular network here, with this particular mod. Once that has been done, let's go ahead and change this back. It continues. Let's go look at our crafting terminal here. And let's put this into peaceful real quick. So this is going to continue saying we're still looking for 10 silicon. So until it shows 10 extra silicon have entered your network, it doesn't consider the crafting done. So now if we place an import bus like so, let's see here. Let's try this again here. This is a little odd sometimes. Like so, and let's just turn that off. Yep. And let's try this. And then attach it from the side here. There, that's what happened. I broke the network. So let's use some of these cables here. And let's fix that real quick. Completely my fault here for not recognizing the obvious. So let's try that again. So we're going to set the top to that. We're going to throw a cable down here to link them, and it should start pulling them out. There we go. Like I said, it's for some reason it's a little finicky there, but you get the idea. This says output into here, and eventually you will get a quartz dust back in the system. So you could even say create things like it tells it to put a whole bunch of one of each of a certain set of item inside of a chest. The chest grabs it, pushes all of it into an automatic crafting system where you get something in the back out. Yeah, you can do a whole lot with this. So this is the way that works. This can also tell this to export certain items there, automatically pull certain items out of this. So let's try something a little different here. Break that. And let's say we want to craft 64. Let's see if that will do it. Yep. So it right here is now showing up there. Like so. So the export items are setting here. In this case, one at a time. And this tells it how much to export. So this says when there's an entire stack, you pull it out of the thing there. So that is the bus, the I/O bus. So let's go and throw these in. So we've went over the I/O bus there, and there's the furnace. Only got a couple more things left. So let's go take this one step further, and let's say you want to automatically craft something, but only when there is a certain amount of it in the network. All right, so this way this works. So let's set this a level emitter here. And then let's go ahead and grab these cables again. And let's link it like that. Actually, back up slightly here. Cable, emitter. And let's grab a wrench. All right, so this basically says when something hits a certain limit, emit a redstone. Or when it's below a limit, emit a redstone. So let's say the iron. Let's pull all of this out. And let's say we set the iron to emit a redstone when it is greater than 256, giving us surplus iron. Let's say this is only going to work when there's a signal. So now this says, this goes, there is at least 256 iron inside of the network. We emit a redstone signal. This says a redstone signal has been emitted. I can now start exporting this stuff into the network here. So let's go and pull all of the iron out. And let's increase this to 1,000 or so. Yeah, 1024. Now you'll see that it says, we don't have enough iron in the network. We do not emit a redstone signal, and therefore this doesn't turn on. So this is the way that you can self-regulate your items by just simply giving it telling it to only craft when it hits a certain limit, and dedicating it to that there. So that is the level emitter. Now we're almost done. We've only got a couple more blocks left, which is the I/O port and the preformatter. So we've got all of this here. So let's say that you decide you want to pull out, let's say this drive. This drive has nothing in it. And let's pull this out here as an example, iron. So you said you want to move some things into this drive. So let's do this first. So let's say we grab this. If we look inside of this, all of these items are currently contained within this one specific drive. I say drive because it looks like a hard drive, but with one specific storage unit. Well, say we want to empty the storage unit. We could use an I/O port to transfer everything automatically into the storage unit. It just pulls it off of there and just transfers right into the rest of the network. this has the same redstone activation, and you can tell this to move it to the outputs port when it is full or done, and when it's empty. So let's reverse this. And let's say we want to have stuff put into this drive. We do this, and this now fills up the drive, which again, we go over here, and we now have the drive filled up. So this works really well. Now, you see, though, it's a little bit cumbersome. Now, you're not going to see exactly what is on the drive. So this is where the last thing comes into play, the pre-formatter. Now, the pre-formatter, like the pattern encoder, requires no energy. And you can think of it a way to turn one of these into the equivalent of like a barrel, where it will only hold certain items. So let's put this in here, and let's tell this, you're only going to hold iron ore. And we're going to name it. We're going to name it iron ore. There we go. So we now pre-formatted this drive. So this drive will no longer hold anything except iron ore when it is placed into the network. So let's pull these drives all out. Let's see here. Just looking at these ones that we have data on. So I'm going to show you this as a good example. All right. So let's pull this out here. Just throw these into the network. All right. So we have all these, and let's see if we can empty a couple more drives out. Yep, that's empty now. And that's empty now also. How about that? Aha. So that one cannot be emptied. That cannot be emptied. No emptying. No emptying. Cool. All right, so we have all of these set, and they're all holding the maximum number of different types of items. All right, so let's say that we run across some gold ore. So let's go and throw our iron ore in here. And let's go ahead and pull this up. Gold ore. Now let's say we run across a whole lot of this. Right. You'll see that this did not let us put anything more in there. In fact, let's go ahead and pull that out, and we'll do the same thing. Let's go ahead and just clear that. So now we have all of these, which are filled with 63 types of items. The gold is included in that one. And we can't place it in the network. Can't place it in the network because those are all full, and this one will only accept iron ore. So very, very handy. And similarly, let's pull this out. You'll see now this will transfer anything that it can into this, but because it only accepts iron ore, the only thing that is in there now is the iron ore. So it's a way where you can go through and defrag your network for all intents and purposes to include other stuff. That's the pre-formatter and the I/O port. So that's pretty much it. That's all of Applied Energistics. Like I said, there's a decent number of blocks, but it is a very well thought out mod. I mean, we're in the 9th full version now. We're actually in the 10th now, but we've hit the last version for Minecraft 1.4.7, and it should be interesting going here on. There are some big changes with the version 10 for Minecraft 1.5. So when the mod packs start to go over to that, that'll be interesting to follow there, and I'll do a follow-up video on this at some point in the future. Until then, I hope you all enjoyed. If you have enjoyed this or this series, this tutorial, or any of my other videos, a like is always appreciated. And again, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments section, and I'll be glad to answer what I can for you. Do check out the mods website, which is fairly simple to find. I'll post a link in the description, but I do recommend to check. When in doubt, you can always use your Google Foo. Other than that, have a great day, everyone, and enjoy.